Hello there. Just another addition to the previous video where we talked about English gematria and how it relates to the possibility of King Harry and thus consequentially Meghan becoming a queen because she's married to the king. And we noticed that it had the value of 666. And again, look at previous videos I've mentioned about this, where the whole point is that it's too much of a coincidence. You know, it goes beyond chance. Of course, it could just be chance, could be meaningless, but I just thought I'd look a bit deeper into this. If you know about the Book of Mormon, you've read the Book of Ether, you'll notice that apart from the secret combinations taking over everything, and that's what causes the downfall of society, is these secret societies where people worship the devil in secret and gain power. That's what brings down society in the end, which is, you know, we see that happening. And something it also mentioned was that the men were in positions of power, but there would always be a woman who would charm the men and get them to do things for them, so that the women would really have the power and the men would just be a figurehead, you know, and they get the blame while the woman gets away with it, you know. And Harry and Meghan, you know, it's the same sort of situation, and you know, they're clearly not a very righteous pair, you know. So if we look at this in more detail, back Harry, he created this charity called Invictus Games. We're just going to look at that for a short time before moving on. And you'll notice the not so subtle I am, which is being proclaimed. And you know, as you see, people get medals with this I am on it, and that's what it's all about, the I am. I mean, Christians will know this. This is the name of God, you know. And if you've seen films, often there'll be a very awkward moment where someone will be asked a question and they'll answer it with the statement, I am, which means I am God. I am the master of my own fate, not God. I'm the one in charge. I am my own God. You know, that's what it means. And it all comes from this poem by William Ernest Henley. And so we'll just go through it. Invictus means unconquerable. So, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. So you can see already this isn't very good, is it? Now, if we go back to what John Todd taught us, also known as Lance Collins, he said that the gods are human beings who are possessed by demons. And so they're fully controlled, so they don't have their own will. Whatever they say and whatever they do is what the gods say and do. And they're the ones who are worshipped, the gods, who are demons. And the humans, they age and die, and so whatever gods may be are the humans, who are really demons, being controlled by demons. So we'll go on. Now notice this charity, like people like Michelle Obama and Morgan Freeman, they support it, and like this poem was made into a song by a guy from Coldplay, you know, and this is their anthem that they sing. So everyone involved in the charity sings this. So in the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. So as you see, this is like the book of Revelation, where it talks about all the punishments coming down upon the people. But they refuse to cry out to God for mercy. They refuse to repent and serve him, to bow before him. They curse God instead. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. So, once again, this is clearly talking about hell and the punishments of God, and how they're completely unafraid. So they don't bow before him, they don't fear him, they worship the gods instead. They worship themselves. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Now this is a sport charity. I mean, Christians will clearly see this, the gates and the way is straight and narrow, and the scroll charged with punishments is the scriptures, that promise them damnation. So they don't bow, they worship the gods, they're black as the pit. They worship the gods. They don't bow down before any authority. They're not afraid of any punishment. And it doesn't matter what way they should be living, the way they should be walking, in straightness and down the straight and narrow way. And it doesn't matter what punishments are coming. Still, they will and will be the master of their own fate and the captain of their own soul. So they are saying, I am God. I am my own God. I choose not the higher authority. So back to Harry then, who started this whole thing. Now you'll notice there's another message being displayed here, apart from the I am that everyone declares and wears upon themselves. Everyone wears these shirts. He says, I am coming. So when is he coming? Now, there's a lot of evidence that these people who declare all these things, the gods, they know like 30 or 40 years in advance what's going to happen, because everything that unfolds is their plan. So they plan these things, and then it happens like 30 or 40 years later, and then a long time before, like they'll make a film and display it to the world, showing exactly what's going to happen like decades later. So if we go back, can we find the film that told us what's going to happen? And yeah, there it is. Of course, the film also starred John Hurt. Now Harry was born in 1984, and John Hurt was in the film 1984. And in the film, the great villain, the powerful villain who stood in the way of freedom was Big Brother. So obviously, before Harry can come, then the Big Brother must first be defeated. Now this film tells the story of the royal family dying. Multiple members of the royal family die, and then this American guy becomes the king. And of course he's got not like he doesn't have a noble name like Harold. He's got a common name like Harry, Ralph, So he becomes the king then, and you'll notice we're given a time that this takes place. The time is 8:25. Yeah? So if you look here as well, it's confirmed here. We see 2 and 5, 25, and then, although you can't see them all, the remaining dots, there are 8 dots remaining. 3, 1, 3, 1, So it's 8:25 again. Yeah. So the time when these things may take place is 8:25. So remember that. So when he becomes king, of course, he becomes the head of the Order of the Garter, which is the head of all Freemasonry. And you'll notice that they have this symbol G, and though what exactly it means may change as you advance through up through the degrees. They changed the meaning of the symbols, but originally people are told that the great G that's displayed so prominently means God, So as we see, he's wearing this sport jacket with this G on it, which is, exactly what this guy's doing. This is a sport thing, a sport shirt with I am, again, meaning God. So, same again, in the same place. He has the same symbol, but in a different way, Again, connected with sports. So, the story of the film, so this guy becomes the king because the other members of the royal family died and he was next in line. And he came over from America, he was living in America. And then he fell in love with an entertainer, just like this guy did. Except she took him over away to America with her, But in the film, it's switched around, like he's the American, she's British, and they live in England, but it's reversed in reality. And we see, notice they're playing word games. They're having a game of Scrabble. They're arranging letters in horizontal and vertical fashions to create words, just like this, just like this. The Invictus games, I am, and I am coming, So, there's lots of coincidences going on here, and of course, in the film, the main problem is that this guy, because of the relationship that he has with this common woman, it's likened to the situation of Edward and Mrs. Simpson, wherein King Edward was forced to abdicate the throne because he wanted to marry this woman who had been divorced, and that was seen as this great scandal, and even, I didn't even need to edit this picture, Harry and Meghan have also been compared to it. So, pretty much everything that happens in this film has happened to these two, So in the film, the guy was warned about this situation of Edward and Mrs. Simpson, that he was in that situation. And likewise, and we've got, I've not even watched the film for years and years, this is just a few little things. There's probably a lot more in it. But I just wanted to show you that, if you look deeper into these things, you'll find, indeed, this seems to be the plan for Harry to become the king, and then Meghan along alongside him becomes queen. And they have this value of 666, and it takes place at 8:25. 8:25? 8:25. So there you go. Again, could just be a bunch of coincidences, but when coincidences start piling up, you've got to take notice, because coincidences don't pile up like that by nature, unless there's something going on. Okay? So I might have more to say about this in the future, but there you go.